Hey, how's it going, guys? Ancient Rune here, back with another Wonderlands build video, and today we're going over the C100 update on Blighted Daggers. This is my strongest build I have made yet, without doing some of the crazy items out there. This is with Salt and Battery build, and it is, as I said, crazy strong. So with Chaos 100, I did make some changes, some more damage, some changes to survivability, and this just feels better DPS. I also min-maxed this a lot more and really wrote down the numbers, and this really just made it a lot stronger, and I really noticed a difference. So I will post a save file with the exact stuff, but there is also a bunch of different options that I will note. Yeah, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, and for the gear here, we have a ×3 scalawag. Now, usually you'll see a ×2 with a melee bolt, and that can still be used, but optimally you want to go with ×3 for those melee bolts, because we already have optimally a lot of melee damage, so that 25% isn't doing as much as getting more melee bolts, which is a pure molt. And then this will also increase our chances of getting soaked from bogged down to happen, which is also a pure molt, so that's another thing you really want. The rest of these weapons don't really matter, they're just kind of on the side. Sometimes I use a stabbomancer for second wins if I need to. And the sword explosions really if I need to fight a ranged enemy I can't hit, and stabbomancer isn't really cutting it. Now the Salt and Battery is very diverse in the hilt mods you can use. You can use Ancient, Vampire, Caustic, or even Echo, because Echo will be stacked up from the dots we get from Alchemical Agent. You will see I've messed with a bunch of different versions. Now optimally you'll probably want to use the lightning one because there's a lot of flesh bars, but because we're using soaked, a cryo or frost one will do really well. If you want to use fire for some enemies that are like Celissa, then you can grab a cryo scalawag, so you'll be getting them closer to freezing, maybe freeze them. Well, not Celissa, but some certain enemies that like to resist stuff. That's annoying. So, and then you won't apply bogged down, which means that the fire will be doing good damage. And then here for the rings, we have Shark's Veins just because of conditional damage. After the change to the full health enchant, also known as vibing, we don't have any conditional damage. So this is like all the conditional damage we have besides like this follow-up, which only uses our attack. So this is really nice for sharks, but you can use any melee rings. You just want melee damage and melee crit damage. Now, active skill duration and active skill cooldown would also be nice if you can find those, but optimally, you want the crit damage. Then here we use a body rune for survivability. It's one of the, I think it's like the only survivability we have for restoring health, so that makes it really nice. Here we have a barb load, or you can use a skeep if you're having survivability problems. Optimally, you want to use all damage, but status effect damage is also a really good choice to have and will still give you that insane amount of damage. Now I go lightning element because I use a lightning salt and battery, but you want to match it to whatever you have. So if you have a frost salt and battery, you want to go frost damage here. And then you want to choose BLIGHTCALLER power over stabbo power, because that elemental damage will just give more damage over just getting duration from the shadows with stabbo power. But if you do get a stabbo power, it won't be the worst thing, because from the shadows duration is still technically more damage. And then here we go miasmic mail for the stat effect damage. This is what I found optimal. You could use a amnesia, but I found it doing too much damage to where survivability wasn't good, and then I'd use a skeep. which meant I didn't have crossbows from Barbaload, which I didn't find worth it. Now here you want as many exploit the weakness points as you want on the armor, since it's a pure molt in our damage formula. This is a stabbo blight power, so we get less blight power, but that's fine. And then you want contagion, but if you get virulence, which is the other option, that's not terrible. Mainly you just want to try and get as much exploit the weakness as possible. Here we go, melee damage, all damage, and move speed. The move speed is mainly for quality of life, but also just kind of dodging bullets from going fast is really nice. So yeah, there's that. And then here we have an empowering sigil. This is really good for blocking projectiles and also freezing and spell spam. I go as much cooldown rate as possible, or you want to go radius. You could use a fortifying sigil, but I much prefer the empowering sigil since it follows you around and you can spam it more. I also forgot to mention the enchants, just because I didn't really want to go over them because there's some flexibility. Now, what you do want always is this could sec hits enchant on your melee weapon. I think, yeah, this will be a pure molt to our damage. For what we have, there are other stuff out there, but for what we have, this is a pure molt. This stacks 5 times to be 50% increased pure molt melee damage. This only stacks from swinging your melee weapon, but since we're swinging constantly, it's fine. But this will buff all melee damage, so this will affect all the dagger storms, which is really good. So this is a must-have enchant. Now, I think optimally, spellcast elemental, spellcast damage dealt, and then spellcast melee damage is optimal for consistency, but you can use action skill start enchants if you can loop fast enough from the shadows with going ancient hilt and cooldown. Maybe like getting cooldown here would be nice, but I don't know if that would be worth giving up melee crit damage. So that's why I go spellcast here, and I can spam it enough with the empowering sigil plus the cooldown from burnt offering to make it consistent enough, especially with this 5 seconds. I think I have my cooldown to like 7 seconds, maybe 6, which is really nice. And so that's why I choose to go spellcast, but I did mess with action skill start all damage on my board instead, and it felt kind of similar, but I prefer having the consistency of the elemental, and we don't have as much elemental as all damage, so that's another reason I went elemental damage. And then here we end up going from the shadows. At first I wasn't going from the shadows just because it's really strong. I just kind of said screw it, or else I'd just probably stay on Bog Down or Plague Storm. But I just went from the shadows. Here we go, like basic skill tree for melee build, haste for the move speed and swing speed, potent poisons for the dot damage duration, exploit their weakness because it'll be a pure molt to our damage in the skill tree. Follow up is some of the only conditional damage we have. I don't know if this will affect the dagger storms like on hit, if that'll increase the damage when they spawn. I would hope so, but I do not know at all. This does not affect any dagger storms that happen when they're shooting out. This will not buff them. And then we go nimble fingers for some fire rate. This will be really nice for our scalawag to apply more bolts. Here we go, shadow step. This is really nice for outer from the shadows, so we can still chain those dagger storms even when we're not always critting. Elusive's really good for survivability, and then also we can run and shoot our scalawag. Contagion for bringing those dots, and it's still really strong because it says it'll do 50%, but if you still have over 100% dot damage, or stat effect damage as some people call it as well, you will get a stronger dot, which is really good. And then alchemical agent, which makes melee dots viable because card dots on melee weapons aren't good at all. But since this does it on the base hit, and those base hits are really strong, these dots are insane and really good. And then here for the skill tree, we go 3 Wraith Mail for survivability. You could take some points out and get virulence, but I haven't really found the need to. Most things die. I think the only thing that's maybe doesn't last long enough is some raid bosses that could be changed. Flawless Edge for the damage, our ward is usually up. Amped up to keep that ward up even more, because Body Rune has a slow cooldown or a slow recharge rate and delay. These are really, really nice for keeping it up, and one of the main reasons I go Blightcaller, besides its great damage formula. I thought about going Berserker here, but it just couldn't keep up the ward, which just meant worse survivability in the end. So that kept that really nice. And then, of course, we go Bogged Down for the Soaked, which is just insane damage. Then here we go Frostbite for the melee damage. The crit chance doesn't really matter that much, but it can be nice. Burnt Offering is a personal choice, so I can spam cells more. You can put these 2 points in Virulence if you want to, but I prefer this here. And then we go Toxicity, mainly for the crit damage and active skill cooldown rate. This crit damage is really nice because you will see here, we don't go Strength. Now, if you don't have a bunch of crit damage on your rings, you will want to go Strength and probably give it up from Attunement. We give up all the points from Strength and we put it into Attunement so we can cycle from the shadows faster. But if you don't have enough crit damage, then you definitely want to put that here. You could also take it from Constitution, but I really like having this ward, especially since we don't have much of HP, so this really helps. And then you always want to get status damage from Wisdom, just because it's more damage and it's like a must-have. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is just a crazy strong build. This will be a save file in my Discord, which will be linked down below. I don't know how many of these builds I will update to Chaos 100. But some of them just can't push it, and you don't really need to, because this is optimal difficulty, or optional difficulty. And so it's just for fun after like Chaos 50, because you unlock everything. You do get better gear drops and rates, and so like you can just like take one character to Chaos 100, and then just go to Chaos 50 and just like farm for ascended gear on that Chaos 100 character, throw it onto your Chaos 50 character and just have fun there. And then if you want to push some, you decide to push some a little bit at a time. Like my Daggers Sacrifice and bow build, I'm definitely not pushing it too far past Chaos 50, just because they can't handle it right now. I'd like to try some other action skills that see how far they can push, like Cleansing Flames, just to see what happens. I don't expect it going far just because it sucks so bad, but who knows, and we'll just have to see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.